welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, I'm talking about my key takeaways from The Social Dilemma, which is an amazing series on Netflix that talks about social media and its impact on your health and your life and your well-being. So the great thing about this series, as opposed to any other, is that it is made by interviewing people who have worked for big social media empires and companies. It's by people who have been engineers, who have been designers, who have been bosses that have worked for the kind of top big tech social media companies. Your Instagrams, your Pinterests, your Facebooks, your YouTubes. So the great thing is that it is not just opinion, it is actually fact delivered to you by people who designed the thing itself. So if you're someone who's looking to live a little bit more minimally and a little bit more in the real world and a little bit less online, then this is probably the video for you. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Here are my key takeaways from this amazing documentary. First of all, it makes you realize that social media is a business. First and foremost, it is a business. And even beforehand, I logically knew this, of course, but I went, yes, it's a business, and me as a user am the clientele. But we aren't. In actual fact, the clientele for this business structure is advertisers. So we as users are not the clientele, we are in fact the product. So this was a really transformative, my brain just kind of went like, huh, I never thought about that before. I'd always thought social media, of course, I'm the one using it, therefore social media must be made to function for me, the client, the user, the customer. But that is in fact absolutely not true. So social media is designed to keep you on the platform, and the more it can keep you on the platform, the more likely it is that you as a user will see more ads, which raises more revenue, because then they can pitch to more ad sales, like this is how many users you will likely see your content and will buy your products. Which is fine, that's the way that business runs. It's just important to be aware of this. Social media algorithms are designed with psychology and behavioral change in mind. You've always heard of like how to beat the YouTube algorithm, how to beat the Instagram algorithm if you're a creator and if you're a content maker. But very rarely do you think about it if you are simply a user. So the psychology of persuasion is built into the AI of the algorithm. So these big companies use behavioral change science to keep you addicted and attached and online. So one of the really great examples of this, it's the pull down refresh. So you don't need to do a pull down to refresh your page, but the reason that that happened is because it's a very similar action to what you would think of for a slot machine. It's that will you roll the dice and see if a new fantastic great thing will pop up in your newsfeed? Will it give you a new source of dopamine to be like, oh, exciting? Will it give you another source of reward? So the important thing to think about with this and all of this signaling stuff that takes place is that knowledge and awareness of it does not make it less addictive. So awareness of the bing going off in your pocket, making you automatically look at it, just because you know that that's what it's designed to do, won't make that action less automatic. So it's more about setting yourself systems in place, which I'm making a video next week about some of the key ways to avoid some of this stuff. But it's just too much content to try and put into one video. So social media is not in fact a tool. I am so sorry for the lighting today. It's going to be swings and roundabouts. It's a very, oh my god, what is that? You don't just walk around with your hammer and occasionally look at it and be like, wow, a hammer. You don't occasionally just be like, I'm just gonna hammer some stuff. You realize there is a need, you're like, oh, I want to put a shelf there. I should use this hammer to do that. But the way that we use social media is not that case. Next is that social media negates the need for real, in-life social interaction. So social media can kind of trick you into thinking that you're in fact being more social, but in actuality you are being far less social. And it also makes you feel like the more you see of your friends doing stuff, the more you're like, no, I was there. And you forget the need to actually hang out with those people. So it tricks you into thinking that you are more social than you are, in fact, being. And there's also this weird little flip side of talking about online socialness to real socialness, is that sometimes when you are in real life, you are thinking about the importance of capturing this moment on film, in photo, to then post on your social media, rather than actually being in the moment and engaged with those people. My next takeaway is that algorithms decide what you see. So algorithms are of course designed to predict what you might want. Even that language is me thinking about it as a user as a client. So let me rephrase that. It's designed to show you things you are likely to engage with the most in order to keep your attention on the platform the most. So it's essentially just a yes man. The algorithm is designed for you to always show you the things that you're gonna be like, I'm interested in that, 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 and then I'm just gonna keep clicking through these things. It's designed to take you into those little rabbit holes. So what's the problem with this? Because everyone's like, that's fine, you just get to see the stuff you like. The problem with surrounding yourself with a bunch of yes men or a bunch of yes videos or a bunch of only stuff I like content is that you don't get a real sense of what the world is. You don't get interaction with people who have different opinions than you. You get very single track focused into what you believe as truth and what you believe everyone would believe as truth because it's all you see. So when you think about people in films that are like, wow, that dude is so out of touch because he's, I don't know, like the CEO of this company and he doesn't understand what's right for the poor people because he doesn't know them because he surrounds himself with only rich people. That's kind of what your social media is doing to you. It's surrounding you with stuff that you like, but that means you have no understanding of what the rest of the world is. So instead of creating this world that is more together and more connected, it's actually creating these huge rifts. So what you end up with is a very, very, very narrow worldview, which is never good for anything. The next takeaway that I got from this was one of the most powerful, I have to say, out of the entire thing. If there were two to pay attention to, I think it is that you are not the client, you are the product. And this one, which is that almost everyone who has worked for these companies, and a lot of the people who continue to work for these companies, none of them allow their kids to use social media, and in often cases don't allow their kids to have smartphones. So that should tell you a lot about some stuff. That these people who are in charge of it, who are designing it, who are making it, think that it is not okay for their own children to use. That one for me was like, whoa, so you are aware of how damaging it can be because you don't want your own kids exposed to it, which also says a lot about our young people who use social media and how you should use it. As always, thank you so dang much for coming to hanging out. It has been far too long since I have done filming. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. I'm so excited to be back and being able to help you guys to live a life that you want. There will be much more from me soon. Be nice in the comments, don't forget to like, subscribe and do all that goodness, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.